I know we have had some fascinating presentations. Thank you to CN, to Thomas, and to Sven for, and I will try and therefore be quick because we've been sitting and so on for the time that we have. But I guess I'm really struck by some reflections on what was in your presentations. And the start of our presentation from Sing Ireland is that singing is for everyone. But is it? And how do we make people feel, like they belong? What is equality? Is equality providing the same experience for everybody, or giving people what they need to feel a part of our communities, of our singing groups, of our choirs? I'm struck by the need for, the people who are in choirs are made up of Irish society. So they are male, they are female, they are transgender, they are coffee drinkers, they are bad joke makers, I also identify. They are cisgender, they are music lovers, and everything in between. And actually, acceptance is about just accepting people as they are and how they are. And do we do that in our choral groups? I don't know. Do we always have that ability? And I'm struck by public pedagogy as well, and how choirs can be an instrument for change, an instrument for good, but they aren't always. They can be an instrument for political oppression when you have a protest song. They can also be incredibly powerful in terms of delivering strong messages of acceptance. But just group singing isn't necessarily good. It has to be an instrument whereby the people in the choirs are making positive moves towards empathy, towards acceptance, and so on. So briefly, Sing Ireland is the national organisation for choirs and for singing groups. I'm going to really abbreviate these slides just in the interest of time, with apologies to my colleague Kate, who brilliantly put them together. We have values of belonging, of collaboration and creativity. And in our strategic plan 24 to 29, we set out to unite voices, to empower young singers, to celebrate diversity in singing. And all of that is underpinned by being a sustainable organisation in every way. I want to just point to one of the projects that we run. We're the parent organisation of the National Youth Choirs in Ireland, and we, again, that grouping of 18 to 28-year-olds in the choir I'm about to discuss, they are made up of all manner of young singers across a huge variety of skills, experiences, contexts, backgrounds. And they bring all of that to their singing and to the ways that they come together. Sorry, I'll just jump on here to a commissioning project that we ran with support from the Department of, I am going to get the name wrong, so I shall make it right, the Department of Children, Equality, Disability, Integration and Youth in the Republic of Ireland, and a fund that was made available to commission the composer David Coonan, along with the writer Caris D. Coburn, who workshopped with the young singers of the Irish Youth Choir. And the piece that was the result was a provocation from the poem by Zoe Leonard. It is a really provocative poem that is a list poem, and actually I want a president, and actually in the context of we're about to have a presidential election in the States, it's very interesting. It was around the election run by Eileen Miles, who was running against Bush Senior and Clinton at the time, and how they didn't have a female president at that time in the US. They still don't. They may do soon, they may not. But actually the prompts that came to the young singers of the Irish Youth Choir as part of this were, what I want and need to make the world around me better, and also what they want, what someone can give them, and so on. And what was really interesting was they discussed this first line, which I will say, which is, "I want a dyke for president." And they use this as a provocation. You know, this is a real power move on behalf of this poem to set the stall and then set out, yes, but they can be all manner of people with all manner of different contexts. And so what we are and who we are is not defined by certain parts of our identity. The poem itself, I'd just like to read a little bit about the power of lists. This is from Caris and David, who were commissioned. And I'll read around the list nature. So they say, "The longevity of Zoe's poem is in part down to it being a list poem. Lists are powerful, they're simple, rhythmic, and they unify without foreclosing. A list can always have another entry. Lists allow an artist to sidestep that dangerous we mentioned above. Rather than presuming to sum up a complex social phenomenon, you enumerate its instances. Rather than speak for all queer people, you name them and note where they stand." And really, in the process of this commission, what came to the fore is sort of how we stereotype or we ascribe value to certain groups. So all queer people, all transgender people don't have the same political thinking, don't have the same interests, and how sometimes we can seek to put people into certain boxes based on how they identify in different ways. And this was really powerfully done in terms of, you know, what a person's political stance might be is not necessarily in sync with how they identify. I'd love to play you a little bit of this. Just for time, I won't play all, so with apologies, I'm going to jump sort of clunkily to the middle. This is, I just might read a little bit of the initial part of the text that we're going to lose, but having worked with the young singers of the choir, the text was about lists, was about a response to the poem by Zoe Leonard from the young singers of the Irish Youth Choir. I'll just read a little bit of it. "Sam, Leo, Oscar, Shane, Jordan, James, Gertrude, Jessica. Leo never played Dark Souls 2 probably. Benjamin, Vladimir, Magnus, Ken. Roger, Leo, Sam, loved the George, Oscar. Cassie surprised me when they changed their name. Truman, Lou's nature, Lou was as soft as his name, as in Sullivan, Jordan, Ken, Shane, loves glee, I want. Harvey to tax the rich, Radcliffe I want a lot, Leo cut welfare in 2017, Natalie I want a woman for Taoiseach, I want to give Nell what was given to me, I want love for Dorothy, I want a world as in." And it continues in this list nature, and I'll give you now the musical experience, as I say, with apologies for jumping to here, but hopefully So yes, I'd love to have played you the whole excerpt, but I'm really mindful of time. I suppose I'm really struck by the contributions of others and this process with the Irish Youth Choir, which brought up so much in terms of some of the things that were mentioned, you know, around uniform, around how we dress, around ladies and gentlemen, and all of these things. And actually, I'm also president of the European Choral Association, and there, in an international context, something that was mentioned around language and how actually the words can often ascribe a gender very specifically, and how there is, in an international context, lots for us to do. But I think choirs can be and should be an instrument for social change and for acceptance, but there's so much that we all need to do to make sure that happens. So thank you.